What's happening, everybody? Appreciate you tuning back into another video. This one is going to be pretty comprehensive, actually. We're going to go over some really cool stuff. I'm going to go over the stochastic RSI and the accumulation distribution indicators. And I'm going to give you an insight on how I use both of these in my day trading portfolios, and then also how I like to kind of integrate the stochastic RSI into my profit trailer and PT feeder settings, because I feel it gives us a more on point indication comparatively to the traditional RSI. And I'm because I'm getting a ton of questions about the stochastic in my Discord channel. So, aka if you're not in the Discord and you're not kind of partaking in those discussions in there, we're talking about all these things related to profit trailer, PT feeder, and then also day trading and different altcoins that we're looking at. There's constantly charts being flown around, and we're talking about this all day, every day. So if you kind of want some signals, free signals in there, we're definitely talking about this stuff in the Discord. The link is in the description of this video. But if you're looking at CoinMarketCap today, everything is pretty red, and this is a revolving 24-hour price change, as you can see in the charts here. These very rough, ugly charts. Definitely there was some price action, higher price action in the beginning of the past 24 hours, but we're definitely negative today on most coins. And that's okay. We'll look into this a little bit more here. So what we're looking at here on top is the RSI. The one on the middle is the stochastic RSI, and the one on the bottom is the accumulation and distribution. So what I want to get into is comparing the RSI to the stochastic RSI. Now, if you haven't watched my previous video on how the RSI indicator works, go back and check that out and then come back to this video, because we're going to kind of get into some of the nuances of this. Basically, the traditional RSI underneath 30 is generally considered an oversold point. And we use this in Profit Trailer and in our day trading to give us an indication of, hey, this might be a good buying opportunity. And if you look at the charts, right when this went, the deepest it went was maybe, I don't know, 17, 16. When it got that low, we saw a pretty significant reversal in price action, along with a reversal in the RSI. And we saw that would have been a great buying opportunity if you would have bought at an RSI of about 16 or 17. You would have seen a pretty nice return. And the same sort of thing happened in here. You saw a pretty nice price movement up in this region of about 3.6%. And that's great. But the problem is the regular or traditional RSI, and we're sitting on the 1 hour charts. We can dig way deeper if you want, and you can do this when you're looking at profit trailer PT feeder settings. Go into the far deeper settings, maybe the 5-minute, whatever indicators that you're using. But for this purpose of this video, we're going to use the 1 hour. The problem is the RSI actually didn't trigger an overbought territory when we were up in this 7,700 range. And we would have been stuck in this bag if you're using an RSI to buy or sell. And so this was a negative 6% drop. And unfortunately, you may have been stuck with that if you're not using other buying signals. So once again here, dip below 30, and you saw another nice reversal up into this region, 3% or whatever. The nice thing about the stochastic RSI is it's similar to EMAs, right? When we use our EMA gain in Profit Trailer, we have two EMAs. We have a fast EMA and a slow EMA. Now with the stochastic RSI, you have a fast moving line and a slow moving line. The fast is the blue and the slow is the orange. And so what I like to do is I look for both in the overbought and in the oversold. I tend not to trade anything in the middle, but I look for the overbought up on the top and the oversold territories. So if you're looking at this situation, even we'll go back all the way to this situation, you definitely saw an oversold situation on the stochastic RSI, and you saw a bit of a bullish divergence in this situation because the fast moving line crossed over the slow moving line in a bullish manner. And basically, if you're trading using the stochastic RSI, you would have caught a really nice trade up into about the 3.1% mark. And if your sell strategy is to wait until the overbought territory You may have even caught all the way up this 4.3% return up in here where it got overbought at the highest level. So this is why I like to use the stochastic RSI, because in my opinion, it gives us a more fine-tuned sort of real-time look at what the regular traditional RSI is giving us. So you can see this in many spots. So in right here as well, we're in definitely an oversold territory. And once we saw this bullish divergence right about in this region, when the fast line moves over the slow line in a bullish manner, we can see that we saw a really, really nice price increase of about 2.7%. And the same thing up here, when we saw the fast line move in the bearish direction over the slow line, we actually saw a few really negative candles. We saw a negative 2% return here. And then we crossed over, we saw another green candle when we crossed back in the bullish direction. But remember, we're still in the overbought territory, so this would not have been a buying opportunity for me in my day trading, nor in my profit trailer settings. But if you're a risky trader, maybe you would have caught this little swing of about 1.5% or so. And then ultimately we saw another bearish signal here when the fast crossed over, the fast crosses over the slow in the bearish direction. And that occurred right about in this region. And we ended up seeing, we saw a little more price action, another 1% or so. And then boom, we went all the way down into the oversold mark in here. Once this happened, you can see that none of that was triggered by the traditional RSI. Literally this entire situation here was not triggered at all by the RSI if you're trading based on the traditional 30 and 70 marks using the RSI, if you're in profit trailer or even in your regular day trading. So that is why I tend to use the stochastic RSI, because it's definitely more real time. It's quicker, especially when you're using profit trailer, PT feeder. You want it doing this automatically, kind of catch trades in a better fashion. To me, this is a really great tool to use. So kind of use this video, use this information and kind of adjust your settings accordingly. The next thing I want to go over real briefly is the accumulation and distribution indicator. And we're just going to jump back into Investopedia. And basically, this is something to note here is this accumulation distribution along with the on balance volume, they're volume indicators, okay? They're very, very similar. And I'll get into the similarities in a second, but first we'll just read this. So the accumulation distribution is a momentum indicator that attempts to gauge supply and demand by determining whether an investors are generally accumulating, aka buying, or distributing, aka selling a certain stock, or in our case, a cryptocurrency, by identifying the divergences between stock price and volume flow. So basically, Investopedia goes down here on the interpretation, and they pretty much hit the nail on the head. The accumulation/distribution line may be used as an indicator to confirm whether a security is trending. If a security is in a strong downtrend or uptrend, the accumulation distribution likely follows the direction of the price movements and therefore confirms the downtrend or uptrend. If the accumulation distribution line and a security's price are diverging, meaning they're going in opposite directions, it may be a bullish or bearish signal. So I'll jump back in here and I have the OBV and the accumulation distribution pulled up on this chart. And basically the differences between these two are pretty simple. The on balance volume takes the close relative to the prior close. And I mean, if you guys need more information on this, I'll probably make more videos describing the on balance volume in more detail, but basically it takes the close price relative to the prior close price. When the close is higher, you add volume, and when the close is lower, you subtract volume. For the accumulation distribution, it takes the close relative to the high-low range for that particular period, and in our case, we're using 1 hour candles. And in our case, when the close is above the midpoint of the multiplier, you add volume, and then when it's below the midpoint, you subtract volume. So If that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, you can go back to Investopedia and get the more technical definition, but we'll kind of skip that for now. Basically, what you can do is you can use both of these indicators, the on-balance volume and the accumulation distribution, to give you an idea of what is trending. What direction does this seem to be trending in? And so right now, I mean, clearly we had this downtrend. Let me kind of zoom out a little bit and drop the chart. And we can see that we went from a price action of about 8,600 all the way down to about 7,200. And the same sort of thing happened with the on-balance volume and the on-balance volume here, and then also the accumulation distribution. So you can, to me, what I like to look at the accumulation distribution is that, again, similar to the RSI, it seems to me to be a more real-time look at the trend at hand. Okay, so just like I explained the RSI, the traditional RSI and the stochastic RSI, I tend to look at the accumulation distribution, especially on the lower time frames, to give me a little bit better indication of where is this going. And so we clearly saw a bottom here. It's a relative bottom with respect. We made a higher low and another higher low here. We didn't necessarily make higher highs. We made one higher high and then we made a lower high and then another lower high, which signals to me that this may be the top and we may end up going down once again. But looking at the on-balance or the accumulation distribution here, we've definitely seen an uptrend. And if you look at this, we can make this a little more clear. Get me out of here. What's going on? Where is that? Come on. Oh, we froze. That's why. I apologize for that. But anyway, so we can see this. We can see what we're looking with. We definitely have an upward momentum going on, and this to me signifies that we have some accumulators going on in this range, in this price action. And although the price action hasn't increased dramatically from the low of the accumulation distribution and the high of the relative high of the accumulation distribution, to me it looks like we are definitely accumulating. This is a 2% gain. But looking at the actual price action, seeing, you really can't use any one indicator. Obviously, this is a volume indicator, so it's a bit more difficult to read these charts without looking at the volume as well. But this is one of the ways that I start to look into, hey, where is this going? What is the volume actually telling us? Are we looking at accumulating or are people dumping? And clearly at this stage up in here, we got to a relative high in the accumulation distribution. And we've definitely seen higher in the past, don't get me wrong. But with respect to where we were at in price action and even in the volume, if I brought up the volume, this is just a good indicator to give you guys an idea of, hey, maybe we're not actually in a bullish market. Look back in time, look back, days in advance or days in the past, and get an idea. Look, we hit our high here and pretty significantly shows right here on the chart. I know it's very, very tiny, but it signified that, hey, we're kind of going in this bearish direction now. And then we saw a nice sell-off here. If I can get this to work, negative 13% sell-off, and you saw the accumulation distribution, everybody was dumping. And then you kind of expect and you use other indicators when the accumulation distribution seems to drop in a significant manner. You use the stochastic RSI, the RSI, the Fibonacci retracements, the Elliott waves. You give yourself all of the data points necessary to decide, hey, maybe this thing might bounce. And we did ultimately see a bounce at 7,400 up to about, I don't know, 8,800 or so, $571 change. And then, we saw another sell-off. And so this is just a way to give you an idea. And a lot of times it coincides with the price action, but then sometimes they diverge and give you an even better indicator of where this price could be moving in one direction or another. So with that said, if you're not in the Discord, please hop in. We're talking about all of these indications. We're talking about Profit Trailer, how we use these things in our daily crypto lives. And if you enjoyed the content, please leave a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. I'm trying to grow this thing as quick as possible. So with that said, I really appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.